What is missing for so many people is a financial education. It's why they might still end up successful in their professions, but still struggle with money. They may have learned how to make money, but not how to manage it. People can be very intelligent and still be illiterate when it comes to finances. They learned how to work hard for money, but not how to make their money work hard for them. Many people still believe that their home is an asset, but Robert teaches that a home is a liability because it takes money out of your pocket through taxes and other expenses. This doesn't mean you can't ever buy a house. You can, of course, but make sure to first buy assets that will generate the cash flow to pay for the house. Robert says if you want to get rich, all you need to do is to buy more income-producing assets, keep your liabilities and expenses low. And when will you know that you already have enough wealth? Robert uses the following definition for wealth. Wealth is a person's ability to survive so many number of days forward, or if I stopped working today, how long could I survive? Another way of stating it, wealth is the measure of the cash flow from the asset column compared with the expense column. When your assets generate enough income to cover your expenses, you are wealthy, even if you are not yet rich. Lesson 3, mind your own business. A friend of Robert heard Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's, speak at the University of Texas in 1974. Afterward, Ray agreed to join the students at their favorite hangout for a few beers. He asked the students what business he was in. At first, they laughed, and then they answered that he was in the business of selling hamburgers, of course. But Ray told them he was not in the hamburger business, but in the real estate business. He knew that the land and location of each franchise were the most significant factors in its success. Today, McDonald's is the largest single owner of real estate in the world, owning some of the most valuable intersections and street corners around the globe. There's a big difference between your profession and your business. Often, Robert asks people, "What's your business?" And they say, "Oh, I'm a banker." Then he asks them if they own the bank. And they usually respond, "No, I work there." In that instance, they have confused their profession with their business. Their profession may be a banker, but they still need their own business. So many people work for everyone else: their employer, the government, taxes, and the bank, mortgage. What Ray Kroc and Rich Dad knew was secret number 3 of the rich. Mind your own business. Don't spend your whole life working for someone else. Too many people spend their lives minding someone else's business and making them rich. Minding your business doesn't mean starting a company, though for some people it will. Instead, your business revolves around your asset column, not your income column. Keep your daytime job, but start buying real assets, not liabilities that lose value as soon as you walk out of the store. Keep expenses low, reduce liabilities, and diligently build a base of solid assets. Parents need to teach young people this before they leave home so that they understand what a true asset is and won't find themselves trapped in a lifestyle of debt. Robert says real assets fall into the following categories: businesses that do not require his presence. He owns them, but they are managed or run by other people. If he has to work there, it's not a business, it becomes his job. Number 2, stocks. Number 3, bonds. Number 4, income-generating real estate. 5, royalties from intellectual property, such as music and patents. 6, anything else that has value, produces income, or appreciates and has a ready market. Acquire assets that you love. Robert loves real estate and thus spends most of his time thinking about and shopping for it. If you don't like real estate, don't invest in it. Even while working for Xerox, Robert minded his own business. He kept his day job and slowly built his asset column. The more he understood accounting and cash management, the better he was at analyzing investments and eventually building his own company. He doesn't recommend people start a company unless they really have the desire to. Otherwise, he advises them to keep their day job and mind their business, building and keeping their asset column strong. As cash flow grows, you can indulge in luxuries, but only if the cash flow supports them. Build the asset column and let the income generated by those assets pay for the luxuries. When assets generate enough income to cover luxuries, that's when you can buy them. Lesson 4. The history of taxes and the power of corporations. Many people see Robin Hood as a hero, taking from the rich and giving to the poor. Rich Dad did not share that opinion. He called Robin Hood a crook. Though the popular sentiment is that the rich should pay more in taxes and give to the poor, in reality, it's the middle class that is heavily taxed, especially the educated upper income middle class. To understand how this happens, Robert gives a brief history of taxes. In England and America, originally there were no taxes, only occasional temporary levies to pay for such things as wars. In 1874, England made income tax a permanent levy on its citizens. And in 1913, America made an income tax permanent. These countries were able to get taxes accepted by the majority because they were first levied only against the rich. However, although income tax was designed to punish the rich, it wound up punishing those who had voted for it, the poor and middle class. Rich Dad explained that he and Poor Dad were opposite. Poor Dad, as a government employee, was rewarded if he spent money and hired people, making his organization larger. But for Rich Dad, the fewer people he hired and the less money he spent, the more he was respected by his investors. Poor Dad sincerely believed the government should help people. For Robert, it was a challenge to work for one of the biggest capitalists in town and go home to a prominent government leader. It wasn't easy to know which dad to believe. But over time, as Robert studied the history of taxes, he saw an interesting perspective. As the government's appetite for money grew, taxes soon needed to be levied on the middle class, and from there it kept trickling down. But the rich saw an opportunity because they don't play by the same set of rules. Corporations, which became popular in the days of sailing ships, offered a way around taxes. Understanding the legal corporate structure gave the rich a steep advantage and allowed them to outsmart the intellectuals. A corporation is simply a legal document that creates a legal entity. It's not really a thing, not a factory or a group of people, but it offers a lower income tax rate than individuals have. This is why most wealthy people on the planet don't pay taxes or pay very little percentage of their income as taxes. Attempts to punish the rich rarely work because the rich find ways to minimize their tax burden. Lesson number 5, the rich invest money. Our mind is the most important asset. If you train it right, millions can be made from a simple idea or an agreement. If you increase your financial intelligence, you will start seeing things that others don't. In other words, you'll start inventing money. For example, in the early 1990s,